A wave of alarm rippled through the Middle East following Iran's declaration that it had carried out a forceful missile assault on one of the most vital U.S. military installations in the area, the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Iranian authorities promptly hailed the mission as a significant triumph, asserting that their projectiles had impacted key zones of the facility and inflicted considerable harm on American assets. Iranian state broadcasters reported that the operation went beyond mere symbolism. Leaders portrayed it as a meticulously orchestrated countermeasure designed to deliver a strong warning to Washington. Almost immediately after the declaration, global media outlets started covering the event, making the purported assault one of the top geopolitical stories circulating right now. According to Iranian accounts, numerous missiles were dispatched toward the base in the course of the action. Their narrative claimed that several of these reached the site and struck intended objectives. Iranian military figures showcased the strike as evidence of the nation's capacity to target even the most fortified U.S. positions in the Middle East. Before exploring further details on how the assault allegedly played out, what Iranian leaders assert occurred at the location, and the U.S. reaction to the reported impacts at Al Udeid Air Base, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That ensures you stay updated on the critical geopolitical developments influencing the world today. Iranian spokespeople indicated the strike formed part of a broader retaliatory effort linked to escalating frictions involving Iran, the United States, and Israel. Per Iranian defense officials, the missiles deployed were highly accurate and formed elements of a synchronized effort, targeting essential strategic points. Soon after the revelation, Iranian outlets released statements asserting that vital portions of the base had been affected. Certain accounts implied that operational sectors utilized by U.S. forces were disrupted, while others suggested logistics and support areas endured severe setbacks. Iranian analysts depicted the assault as a showcase of the country's advancing missile technology. They contended that the action demonstrated Iran's potential to contest U.S. dominance in the region and endanger sites once thought nearly unreachable. The prominence of Al Udeid Air Base renders these assertions particularly striking. Situated southwest of Doha, the base ranks among the largest U.S. military outposts beyond American soil. It accommodates thousands of U.S. personnel and functions as a primary center for American air missions throughout the Middle East. This site oversees operations spanning various nations and conflict theaters. Combat jets, reconnaissance aircraft, aerial refuelers, and intelligence assets all operate from here. Moreover, Al Udeid contains sophisticated command centers that oversee U.S. military endeavors across an extensive area. Given its crucial role, the base has historically been regarded as a likely objective in any serious clash between Iran and the United States. For years, Iranian commanders have cautioned that U.S. Gulf installations could lie within missile range should disputes turn into open warfare. Now, per Iranian sources, that possibility has materialized. Iranian national television quickly framed the assault as a deliberate and strategic endeavor. Authorities stressed that the missiles employed featured exceptional precision, and they maintained the mission highlighted Iran's skill in bypassing protective measures safeguarding major U.S. sites in the Gulf. The storyline from Tehran positioned the strike as both tactical and emblematic. Tactically, Iranian figures hinted that hitting such a pivotal site might hinder U.S. operations region-wide. Emblematically, it served as a declaration that Iran can deliver robust replies to perceived aggressive moves by the United States and its partners. As word of the supposed attack circulated, administrations across the Middle East swiftly tracked developments. Defense and government figures in the Gulf recognized that any hit on a facility as key as Al Udeid could spark a cascade of repercussions. Security experts promptly assessed potential ramifications. Should Iran's assertions of extensive damage hold true, the consequences could prove substantial. Al Udeid transcends a standard overseas outpost. It acts as a headquarters for much of American military activity in the Middle East. Impairment to essential components could disrupt aerial missions, postpone strategic scheduling, and hinder collaboration among U.S. units deployed in multiple countries. Thus, the mere prospect of a successful hit rapidly drew worldwide military scrutiny. Iranian leaders persisted in labeling the mission a thoughtfully executed show of force. Remarks from defense representatives suggested the missiles possess the ability to circumvent or saturate defenses around American installations. Commentators in Iran maintained that the event revealed U.S. regional assets are far from invincible. In their view, it illustrated that even heavily protected bases with cutting-edge defenses remain vulnerable to Iran's expanding missile inventory. The core message Iranian officials seemed intent on conveying was direct. Amid rising conflict, Tehran is convinced it can endanger major U.S. military positions throughout the Gulf. For several hours post-announcement, ambiguity prevailed in worldwide conversations. Reporters, specialists, and officials struggled to ascertain the precise events at the base. Details were scarce, and accounts from various origins diverged considerably. In time, U.S. authorities offered their perspective on the episode. Per American military sources, missiles were indeed fired in the direction of Al Udeid Air Base, yet their depiction of the results contrasted sharply with Iranian media portrayals. U.S. representatives noted that protective measures around the base managed to neutralize several incoming threats prior to impact. These defenses, built to safeguard high-priority sites, reportedly identified and eliminated multiple dangers. Although remnants from downed missiles may have landed within the base boundaries, U.S. officials stated that overall harm remained restricted. The Pentagon underscored that Al Udeid Air Base stayed completely functional. Based on U.S. evaluations, the primary structures sustained no major impairment. Aircraft operations and military activities linked to the base persisted, with vital command roles remaining intact. This account stood in direct opposition to the narratives spread by Iranian outlets, which had characterized the assault as a severe setback to U.S. military setup. The starkly opposing stories promptly fueled discussions among defense specialists and observers globally. Iran presented the strike as a notable showcase of its missile prowess and an effective defiance of U.S. regional presence. Conversely, the United States sought to bolster trust among allies and partners that the assault produced negligible effects and that defenses had effectively shielded the base. Such discrepancies frequently arise amid intensified geopolitical strains. Rival versions surface as each party strives to shape international opinion and preserve its position. Iran has strong incentives to depict the strike as a resounding achievement. Projecting power and deterrence is vital in military communication. Illustrating that Iranian missiles can access critical sites broadcasts a potent message at home and abroad. Simultaneously, U.S. officials prioritize upholding faith in their protective technologies and reassuring Gulf partners that American troops stay safe and effective. For Washington, highlighting the base's normal operations conveys that U.S. military strength in the region endures undiminished. Despite the clashing narratives, one fact stands out. The assault signifies a grave intensification in the persistent standoff. Aiming at Al Udeid Air Base constitutes a weighty development in the mounting strains between Iran and the United States. The site's immense importance means even an attempted strike holds profound political and strategic implications. Military strategists are now scrutinizing the event closely. Experts will review launch methods, defense responses, and any potential weaknesses revealed. The Gulf hosts many U.S. military sites, and safeguarding them remains a paramount U.S. concern. In the background, diplomatic efforts are probably accelerating. Regional nations grasp that additional escalation could swiftly involve them in a larger confrontation. Qatar, as host to Al Udeid Air Base, now occupies a pivotal spot in a fast-evolving crisis. Global energy markets are watching intently, too. The Gulf's central role in worldwide oil supply means heightened military friction could unsettle international trading. Even with limited physical harm to the base, the symbolic weight of the strike has already generated instability. Currently, two conflicting versions persist. Iran insists the mission validated its reach against crucial U.S. targets. The United States asserts the attack yielded only minor effects, and that the base operates with little interruption. Between these accounts exists a complex truth that global analysts continue piecing together. The episode also underscores the rising prominence of missile systems in contemporary conflict. Countries like Iran have poured resources into missile programs, as these enable threats to remote locations without needing extensive air fleets. Accurate missiles have emerged as a primary means of exerting military influence over vast distances. In turn, the United States and its allies have invested massively in sophisticated missile interception technologies capable of spotting and stopping incoming dangers. The Udeid events will likely serve as a key example for defense specialists assessing these systems' effectiveness in actual scenarios. At the same time, worldwide calls for restraint are mounting. Numerous international actors advocate caution, aware that a broader Gulf conflict could carry severe ramifications for worldwide security. For the moment, Al Udeid Air Base continues functioning per U.S. statements, even as Iran stresses the intended signal. As additional details emerge, governments and experts will keep investigating the dramatic assault that thrust one of America's key regional facilities into the heart of an intensifying geopolitical confrontation.